Oh, how do we have everybody? Oh, hey.
Hi.
I don't think we're broadcasting. Hope we're not. Everything is going. Well, where's the broadcast button? We may be broadcasting then.
It says it's recording.
Why are we
Well,
broadcasting?
I don't know about broadcasting.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Sorry, we had everything that could go wrong so far has been going wrong. If you had somebody who was, oh, you're muted, Dr. Valentina, we have you muted.
Can you unmute?
You should be able to click the microphone at the bottom of your screen. If it's not that, you might be having a let's see. It says you're muted. I can't unmute you. Dr. Valentina, can you call me? I can't hear you. Can you call me on my cell phone, please? It's well, I can direct. I can tell you direct. Sorry. Yes. Thanks, Dr. Yeah, I don't know why it's broadcasting already, but it seems like everything that can go wrong this morning has gone wrong. But yeah, Dr. McKee, the attendees thing is working now. So I fixed. I don't know why it was like that, but yeah, I see our numbers are starting to go up now. People are registering, but that was a weird thing. I don't have Dr.
Does she need like our phone number or something?
Well, she has mine, but
okay.
What is going on? Okay. I was trying to help with the booths. Well, we're going to have, I don't know why nobody else can get on here. Okay. I can't unmute you, Dr. Valentina. We're at 9:45.
She sent a message in the chat. She said she needs your phone number.
Oh, that's right. Okay, hold on. Oh, session. All right. Sorry, everybody. Not everything's going smoothly. Speakers should be able to join the talk right now. Just make sure you do your mic check. I see Omar is here, but not joining. Okay.
Hello.
Good morning. What's going on, David?
We're just having like some technical difficulties. But since you are first on the schedule, do you want to just go?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right.
Are we waiting for others to come in? What are we doing?
Yeah, we're waiting for just like a few more people.
I'm fine waiting. I'm not in no rush.
Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hannah Teverball? You say that?
Teverball. You did good.
I was in the ballpark.
Yes.
What's going on, McGee?
I'm not in this session. Got it. I must be in a different session.
Yeah.
Do you know where I could find the link to that session, Dr. McGee? It starts after this. Got it. Thank you.
All right.
Sorry, guys, we're almost done troubleshooting. We're going to start in a couple of minutes. Thank you, everybody, for your patience.
No problem.
Right. Sorry, everybody. Hopefully you can hear me. And I don't have full moderator control. So this the first session is not, we've had a lot of issues going so far this morning. For those of you who had trouble getting in, yes, I'm getting a whole bunch of stuff at once. My apologies for that. My name is Dr. David Anyudike. I'm a general pediatrician. And I'm going to be moderating the talk today. We have a number of very talented specialists coming on today to talk to you more about mental health and some of the stuff that's been happening. It's been a really tough year for everybody, including our youth. And so we want to be able to address some of the issues going on, and also to answer any of the questions that you may have regarding yourself, your child, anything that they may be going through. We were going to start with Dr. Valentina, but she's having some technical difficulties. So I see with Omar being up already, if you don't mind, we can start with him. Omar Yamini is an author and an expert in youth development, and he was going to give us some insight today into the social emotional intelligence. Omar, if you could start.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you. Thank you, Doctor, for the introduction. And thank you, everyone, for joining us in this session. My name is Omar Yamini, and I won't use the word expert. but I do have a passion for our young people and connecting with them in a way that is very valuable, dealing with the state of our youth in our cities, our state of our African American youth in our cities. I went to prison for 15 years after being raised in a 2-parent household with 5 brothers and sisters, all college graduates. One brother went to a division, Big Ten, 9-time All-American, track and field, had a 6-year NFL career. I have another brother who I had, happy Veterans Day to, who is currently serving as a sergeant in the United States Air Force. Sister who is an early child educator, and another sister who is a large property manager for corporations in the Chicago area. I say that to say I had parents who raised us, who were educated, who established us with a moral, spiritual base, a religious base, went to private schools up until sixth grade before we went into the public school. And it still happened to me. Ripping and running. Young men, youth need something to do more than just school. It started with me ripping and running, even though my parents didn't smoke, didn't drink, didn't club, didn't party. Brothers and sisters, we weren't involved in the, a bunch of the gang life. We were athletes, so we were in that kind of that upbringing. But it still happened to me. Right after high school, I did not graduate on time. Right after high school is a very important time for our youth. If they do not have a plan, the streets will find a plan for them, and that's real. Because at that age, you need, number one, you need your own money. And you were looking for like-minded people, for a group of people. During my prison experience, I'm 15-year imprisonment. It is not the fear of someone putting their hands on you. It is not a fear of violence. Prison, for most people, is the fear of losing your humanity, the fear of being treated like an animal, and then coming one home after your release date. You come home to a world that didn't exist when you left it. When I was arrested in 1996, the internet was businesses. It wasn't a household item. We didn't have smartphones. We didn't have emails. So I came home, men and women, these people are coming home after these long sentences with zero skills and no idea how to acclimate into a world that didn't exist when they left. And now you have to find work. Now you have to be educated. Prison is one pain. The aftermath to coming home with zero skills, no education skills, no work skills, no social skills, and men have no idea how to interact with women and children. That is a brand new start for you. And if you do not have the family, the support, the educated support, the people with social capital, there's a very great chance that you're going to have to be a janitor. I'm not talking about what you can do, what the human intellect can produce. But when you don't have those skills, when you have not been practicing, when you haven't been preparing yourself for this world, which most men in prison do not do, then you're going to come home to a world and you are going to be expected to produce right away. And you have zero skills to do so. With our youth today, our approach must be with our schools. We have to no more, not reimagine it. It must be done. African American children in certain places in this country, in certain cities, in certain areas, need a completely different curriculum in those schools. They are in a building where they spend 1/3 of their waking hours, and we have to transform that into more social, emotional learning places where we have to prepare our young people how to cope with violence. We are a unique people. We have to prepare our children how to deal with the trauma of violence that they pretty much are going to see on their way to and from school. That is not normal. Now, I understand we have to break our cycle of violence. That's one policy. That's one approach. But dealing with our youth, We have to get after them right away, and in a manner that we understand. Thank you, Dr. David, and that is my introduction.
Okay. Thank you. Sorry, we are having a lot of troubleshooting issues here. I think where Dr. Valentina may not be able to join us, but yeah, thank you for that, for the talk. All this multitasking. But if we can have, oh, good. I see that we were able to get Obari on. So then, yeah, if we can switch then over to Obari, if you have a moment, if you can give us a brief overview then on some positive coping techniques, you know, in the era of difficult, during a time when youth are having such a tough time going forward. I'll let you speak on that.
Sure thing. Appreciate you, Dr. David. And thanks, 100 Black Men, for convening us in this tough time, you know, that we all experiencing, but y'all have consistently provided space for people to gather still. And, you know, a virtual gathering is still a gathering. We still eye to eye. We're still impacting people. So I'm honored to be able to share. And also, you know, appreciate you, Brother Omar, and the work you're doing, and the transformative power of the human spirit and, you know, Black male intellect and willpower that you represent just by your very being. So love to talk more, you know, about your work and ways we can collaborate. And Dr. David started off by saying that this is, you know, it's been a tough year and a half, 2 years for everybody, particularly for our youth. And I am afraid that even with all of that being true, that we are not nearing the end of that anytime soon. And that this season of winter, we just had our first little bit of snow flurry yesterday, is going to be a really tough season for a lot of people. So it's a really important conversation to have anchored in this moment in time to help us prepare for making sure our young people make it through this dark winter. It's going to be, these holidays are tough for some people. Like, I think that, I know for me personally, I lost a sister this year. I mean, it wasn't even COVID, it was something else. And she was, you know, it shook us so swiftly that we could not recover quick enough to plan a funeral for her. We never even memorialized my older sister this year. And what that means for me right now in this moment is that it has not even registered to me that we lost her. Like, I can say it right now and I can speak about it very openly, but it's not there's not even an emotional connection to it because I haven't processed it fully because this year has been such a strange year. And I think it's going to be the holidays for a lot of people where it occurs to us, like it dawns upon us how much we've lost, how many we've lost. It's going to be at the Thanksgiving table where we're like, wait, she not here for real? Like, she really not here for real? And I think that moment of revelation is going to sink in some sadness, some grief, some loss for a lot of us, some anxiety, some depression. We already losing the sun. Seasonal affective disorder is a real thing for everybody. And I think that Black people in particular have a connection to the vitamin D and the melanin in the sun that gives us some boost that, you know, we lose in this season. Chicago's tough for us. And then there's the isolation, right? We had a little bit of a summer and we had some festivals, we had some events, but when it get cold, a lot of that stuff, you know, it dies down some. So there's several layers of conditions that are upon us this season that I think could lead to a really ugly situation for us mentally, socially, emotionally. So I think that we need to pay extra careful care of our young people this season. And just really keep an eye on them, right? We really need to, if we're talking about teenagers, they already have a culture that can be sometimes difficult, and that they seek a certain level of isolation. Certainly, Brother Omar mentioned the smartphones and the social media that, you know, I wake up scrolling, right? My brain has been wired so that if I'm stopped at a stoplight for too long and my brain gets bored, I pick my phone up. Like I know that's true for me. And so I can only imagine what it's like for these young people. And I got two sons, like they ain't teenagers yet, but I see how we are grooming them to be addicted to the scrolling and to the dings and the whistles. And so what that means is that they seek a certain isolation that in this season, we're going to have to interrupt some. We're gonna have to go into their rooms and watch the TV with them. There's this really good stuff. I don't know if y'all watching the Colin Kaepernick Black and White series. That's a great family program. We got to get back to family programs. When I was a kid, we was watching the Cosby shows as a family. We would eat and watch it and we'd talk about it. So even if something happened that my parents disagreed with on the TV, or a commercial came on, or some program happened, we were all in the room talking about it, processing it, and our young people are missing that. They're just the corporations have direct access to their brains through the music they put in the headphones in. They're really isolating themselves, but being influenced by the games and the people they're meeting through games and the social medias and the Snapchats and the TikToks. And this is a time for family, right? We have to reinforce what does it mean to get back to those times when we do these simple arrangements where we wrap around each other. Right. That's my first suggestion in terms of positive coping. When I think about positive coping, it's not just you as an individual doing your best to manage and maintain. It's us as a community reconfiguring our approach to engaging in the holiday season, engaging in these breaks, having the daily routines where we're checking in on each other, where we're making sure we're okay, particularly for Black men, because Black men already have this resistance to being vulnerable, to being open, to being transparent. So even if you're checking in, say, bro, how you been? How you feeling? You good? We have these rote responses prepared. I'm good. I'm chilling. Everything's cool. So, keeping it 100, just, moving day by day. Can't complain. We have rote responses to the question of how you doing. You got to ask me. I ain't even speaking for nobody. You got to ask me 5-10 times before I think that you really want to know how I'm doing. So we have to create spaces. We have to create this kind of relationship, particularly with our children, where we're really making sure that we're saying, how are you doing for real? Like on the inside, like, are you happy for real? Are you peaceful? Do you have joy? Give language to the things that we want them to experience and not just be moving through. It's very easy to get caught in the rat race and get in the rigmarole of life, like just moving like a hamster on a wheel. We have to break that. We have to interrupt that. We have to create spaces where we're having honest conversations, particularly with our young people, about how they're doing. Brother Omar mentioned the school being a space for social emotional conversations. I got 2 boys in schools, and they really just threw them back in there and was like, let's try to pretend like the whole thing didn't happen. Let's just get right back to it, because we got to make up for lost time. So now they're doing extra work to double up. And there's this push for academics for both of them. They one in first grade, one in fourth grade, and there's no space. There does not seem to be space in the school to say, like, how'd you get through this? Like, what was it like for you? How are you anticipating further difficulties as we still in this? The schools has been a space for my children. I don't know about other schools where they pretended like this didn't happen. We did not readjust our children socially, emotionally, spiritually, mentally in ways that I think that the school could be capable of. So we got to do that. That's the role of us as organizations, as mentors, as fathers, as educators, to find space to create an avenue to have these conversations with them over and over again. I love that y'all asked me to speak to positive coping techniques. And I want to speak to the word positive just for a quick moment before I wrap and open the floor, because I'm going to have a lot of time for discussion. But when I say positive, I don't just mean like happy-go-lucky, skipping in the fields of daisies. Positive for me has to do with forward motion, elevating your status, moving forward in life, enhancing, graduating levels of maturity. When I think positive, I think a direction, not so much tone. And so when I think about positive coping, that doesn't always mean self-care in the way that I think America likes to sell it. We think self-care in a very superficial way, like manicures and pedicures and spas. And those things are important. It's important to take a moment to pause and take care of yourself. You got to look good. You got to feel good. Those things are important. Massages, those things are nice. But there's also a level of coping and self-care and wellness and mental health that requires a deep level of interrogation We got trauma in our bones, like it's in our blood. We got to unearth some things that are generationally embedded inside of our psyches, and the superficial manicure way of doing that doesn't get at some of those things. And so positive coping doesn't always feel good at first. If I'm asking you to spend some time reading or writing or journaling, some of that might not be pleasant for a moment. Like sometimes, even a massage, sometimes it hurt a little bit, but it's unloosening some things that get tight, they get stuck in your body. And so positive doesn't always necessarily mean feeling good. Everything that feels good ain't good for you. And everything that's good for you don't always feel good or taste good, right? There's sugary things, there's sweet things, there's attractive things that we can gravitate to, we can fill ourselves with. They could be comfort foods in times like this. It's dark outside, we Netflix and chilling, we relaxing, and we stuff in these snacks, right? That might cause more problems later for you. So everything we're doing, I want to encourage all of us really to slow down, particularly with our young people, and have a rubric, a category of questions that we're asking ourselves. What am I doing? What are my daily activities? How many of them serve me? Are they good for me? Are they elevating me? Or am I just doing it to be doing it? Am I doing it because other people are doing it? Am I doing it because it's popular? I'm doing it because that's what my friends are doing. Am I doing it because it's the most convenient thing to do? Or does it actually serve me? Is it moving me in a forward direction? That's what positive coping skills are. Those things that I do that I enjoy, they feel good because they help me. And that's a thing that we got to unpack. What does it mean to be healed, to be whole? And for Black men in particular, sometimes it's hard to even get to that because we don't, I don't know, believe that we are worthy of the best stuff sometimes. So we accept mediocrity. We accept just this going along and just getting along, just the survival sort of mentality. And I think that we can move our young people past that, past just like getting through, but really enjoying, thriving, having deep joy, connecting to your purpose. Those things are coping mechanisms beyond just making it through. I think we can do more than just make it. I think we can contribute to the world in valuable ways, and I think that feels good, right? It might take work, right? It might take some effort. It might take discipline. You want to hear discipline in your coping mechanism conversation. You want to hear, I want to do stuff that feels good, but that's not always the stuff that moves us forward. So I just want us to dig a little bit deeper as a community and encourage our young people to really learn how to investigate themselves and find out what for them are those things that bring them joy and peace and to connect us to their purpose, whether it's through writing or art or music or dance or crafts or engineering, or if it's hands-on stuff or if it's intellectual stuff. The youth, the time for that is to explore all of it. You want to try some new stuff. You want to expose them to stuff. A lot of stuff that I'm doing is stuff that my father took me to when I was a kid. I ain't had no choice. I wasn't like, no, what you feel like doing? No, get in the car, boy, let's just go. And those are things that have become ingrained in me, and I appreciate him. I might have fought him then, but I'm grateful for them now because they gave me a range of things that I can pull from now to manage, to survive, to cope, to heal, to thrive, to work. They become sources of income. And so we want to use the youth time for that. Expose them to a bunch of stuff. Take them to yoga classes. Help them meditate. Take them to book clubs. Stuff that they would not do, but pair that with things that they want. So you want a new game for Christmas. You want that a new 2K. You want some new shoes. Read a book. You might not want to read that book, but then you might read the book and be like, man, I really learned something from that. That's dope. I appreciated that. We have to help encourage and institutionalize self-care, healing rituals in our young people's lives by doing them first, taking them with us to them, and then connecting them to the things that they want, to the areas of success, the things that, it might not just be money. Like money is, is a low vibrational frequency, but I know we need it. We got to use it. But if we can connect those things that people really actually want, which are ultimately, for human beings, is joy, it's success, it's being able to travel, be able to be independent. We can do that thing and help them integrate coping, wellness, and these kind of rituals as an everyday thing, not just when things get too tough or not when things get, real dark. We want this to be natural, everyday kind of stuff. So that's the direction I want us to move in, particularly as Black men. So grateful to have this conversation. I don't want to take too much time. And I see we just got Doc in finally, which is awesome. I'd love to hear from her. But we're going to, I'll stop there and just, make sure this time again for questions in the end.
Yes, thank you guys, and please, for everybody who is viewing this, and I apologize for having so many issues. We do want questions. Please put your questions in the chat so that when we will be running a little short for Q&A. But if you do have questions at the end, we do want to make sure we answer them for you. Thank you for Omar and Abar. Thank you so much for doing this, as I was kind of not really available to go with you guys on this, but we can then throw this to Dr. Valentina. And she had, if we kind of resuming her into the presentation today, a little unique, but yeah, we'll have you go ahead. We have only 5 minutes. Well, we have about 5-10 minutes if you could condense your talk. You're a licensed clinical psychologist, and we were going to have you give a little bit of an overview of what's been happening with the pandemic and mental health. Can you guys hear her clearly? Uh-oh. Oh no. Okay. So we may not have the solution we thought we did. Yeah, because I'm not have the bandwidth on my end to get. Okay. Yeah, I can see I'm taking my headset. Saying, you guys can hear it. I think if I turn off my video, let me see if that helps. Here, let's see if I can drop your. Yeah, can you drop your video and see if that increases your audio at least? Because if yes, and we'll see. I can hear you. Can you? Anybody else? Or can you hear her clearly? Maybe. Are you getting any audio from her?
Did you share like your audio with while you're sharing your screen? Did you share screen and audio?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Okay.
For the screen share. Website. Where is? Okay. I'm not sure what. We'll try again. It didn't give me the option to share audio. I did not pop up. I'm not sure. I think. Oh, Elias, can I have you? No, actually, that would help. I'm not sure. It's not. Okay, you guys can hear it all right. Otherwise, we're just gonna...
What did you say? It kind of cut out.
Can you hear Dr. Valentina at all?
No.
Okay. All right, one more try. And then we'll go to Q&A. Please put your questions to, yeah, actually, Dr. McGee put a question in the chat. What have you guys done with children lately that can be done today? Or what would you recommend today for stuff that you can do with the kids? Like some coping mechanisms, etc.
I'll take that first. Coping mechanisms with this pandemic. Obari, you are the person that can deal with that best. I have a different approach. Mine is more collective.
Yeah, sure, I can speak to that. And I think a collective approach is actually the way to go. And I'll start there. I think that one of the things that the pandemic has shown us in the field is the cracks in our system, that we have more pain than we have providers to meet. All the therapists I know got, waiting lists, their caseload is just tapped. People call me all the time and say, can I bring my son to you for therapy? I can't take nobody right now. So the individual one-on-one therapy approach is inefficient for the types of things that we need to deal with. So the collective approach, I think, is really important. I think that we need to use spaces where people gather, barbershops. We're talking, schools. We're talking. I like to connect with coaches, people that have groups already to be able to bring mental health sort of language and tools and skills. And a lot of it can be really simple, like just breathing, teaching people how to breathe. I was 20-something before I realized that I wasn't breathing right. To a whole grown man, I don't know how to breathe. It's my body, but I had to learn how to breathe, and how to move, how to stretch, how to eat. Like, these are things that we can teach and incorporate into young people's spaces that have mental health implications, that are coping mechanisms, and use art, I use drumming, I use hip hop. Like, I like to use stuff that's fun for me, and then incorporate conversations. Just, how you feel. We drumming as a vibration in your body. How does that help you be more aware and present of the moment? A lot of Black men have disconnected from their bodies in ways. So if I ask you how you feel, they can't even identify it because they feel numb, or they're using maladaptive coping strategies. They're popping pills. They don't even know what they are right now, to get away from the pain, and not being able to get into their bodies to say, this is where the stress is eating at me. I feel it in my stomach, or I feel the tightness in my chest. They go from 0 to 100 because they're not able to feel in their body the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We can teach that. We got to create spaces where they can learn how to relax, sit still, breathe, feel emotions in your body, give language to it, and then have conversations about how to navigate that, problem solve. All of that requires community support, mentorship, but also these things that they already into. If it's, art, music, writing, drums, movement, singing, all this kind of stuff, I think is important ways, particularly for children. And it has to be developmentally appropriate. My children are young now. So I find there's lots of books out here, Black books, YouTube channels, the stuff that we can use that's engaging, that's fun, that's for children, that we just got to organize and create space to do as communities, as families. And I think the holidays is a good time for that because people are at home anyway.
So when the pandemic first hit, I was working with some young people who real short, they were already fresh in and out of the juvenile system. A couple of them had some serious cases they were fighting, but then their parents died on them, and their grandparents died living in the home. That was unlike, it was like we went to war, like a war had landed. You can only imagine if some enemy invaders, attack the nation and you are forced to, fight. That's how it approached us, this virus, with these young people who already don't know how to cope, have no coping skills, and have not been trained, and we're still reaching to them to help them with their emotional situation. But then your mother died, and then your grandmother died, and everybody in the house is sick, and you're dealing. It was during the time when the police unrest and the aggression that these young people already have. When I say this was the perfect bomb that landed on Black communities in some of our urban spaces, it's going to be a while before we recover. And that's my approach. I see it. I'm out here with them. And we, as African Americans, we still have our issues with vaccinations from our past, of course. And that is contributing to the pain. And when I say this is an all hands on deck for adults, for people, human beings who care, not professionals, not the doctors, not the therapists, just parents, individual. This is going to require the village loving the children.
Thank you guys for the response on that. We do have another question, and we have just over 5 minutes left. So I do appreciate everybody who has a question, but Sharon Meadows had a question. As the parents to a 5th grader, we want to acknowledge her feelings without feeding the beast. The days of you'll be okay and sticks and stones are long gone. Any suggestions? Any of you guys have a recommendation for that?
Yeah.
clarify, she doesn't want to create any more anxieties, how she can address that without creating any more anxiety.
Mm-hmm. I think I'm following the question well, and I think that's really important to be considerate of, the creating anxiety part. There's so many reasons to be afraid right now, and the news is eating it up, and everybody's trying to make us afraid. And I believe that particularly for children who don't have as much power over their circumstances, it requires what Omar's suggesting, this all hands on deck. All of the adults, the mentors, anybody that loves children needs to be more organized to create this system of security, so that when the anxiety comes, when the young people are like, man, what's going to happen? Like, I don't even know what this is. We have to be able to give them this sense that we're going to make it through this, that we've made it through it before. We've been through pandemics. We are old people. We've been here for a long time. And I lean on that. I lean on my elders when I get frazzled, when I feel like I don't know what to do next. I go to people that have been here and I can just look in their eyes and, man, no, we'll be fine. And it's that sense that we'll be fine that reduces the anxiety, but it has to be structured in something. It's got to be like, it can't just be inspirational. It has to be tangible. And that means we need to be more organized. We need to be more consistent and more present. And again, in community more often. And I think that is what reduces anxiety, is to provide security and to give them space to talk about what they're afraid of and what they're anxious about and what they're sad about, and know that we can handle it. Like I can hold that. We can deal with that. It's fine. We can process it. We need to grieve, because you got to be sad when you're sad. And when you're anxious, I got to be able to reassure you that those things are real. And I have a response to that. We need to have a response to the anxiety. And that means work for us. That's we got to do better for that.
We can help them take their minds off of it with excellent programming in our community centers, in our schools, the type of programming that they want to be there. Not more, when I say more engaging activities, fun activities, the type of activities or skill training that produces wealth, more songwriting, more music production, taking our young people, identifying what we as African Americans, we have in us innately, naturally, God-given talents. He blessed us with tremendous art, and he blessed us with excellent athleticism. We may be the best on earth as a group of people. He has done that for us. We tap into those abilities. We help get our young people. For example, I know a brother who they have a lot of young athletes. So one of his programs, they brought in strength and conditioning coaches for those young men who want to play football, who want to play basketball, the ladies who want to play tennis. And he helped them to develop their skill, and which helped walk them right into these college campuses with these scholarships. It was a further development than what they got from the high school programs. But they work in alignment with them. I know another young man. There's a high school out here where I live, Homewood Flossmoor High School. They have a tremendous arts program where they have some of these young men who went to these schools. A young brother who passed away recently at the airport had a #1 song out. He learned how to do that at his high school in their arts program because they put that much money. There are quite a few artists who come out of there. So the kids are flooding the program because they understand music is instant money. You can learn how to write a song. You can produce it. He taught them how to put this on their create websites. So the type of programs that our youth understand can produce wealth for themselves, for their families, and do it in a relatively short period of time. Juice WRLD, thank you. That was his name. These are local artists, and they learned how to create wealth, to tap into their own selves, their own wealth at these wonderful programs that are now being implemented in some of these schools because the school and the program designer have understood that let's meet our youth where they are and give them something they want, not something we want. We want to talk. I know we definitely need our career and readiness programs. Yes. But that's not all. We need our restorative justice programs, yes. But that's not all. We got to give them something.
Yeah, I'm going to interrupt you at this point. We are running out of time. I do encourage everybody to head to the expo area after the talk. I think if any of you guys are available, it'd be possible to drop by the UIC booth, because in the people continue chatting in the different booths. notes. And so if you guys ever want to be able to drop it in there. We did have one last question before we run out of time. And thank you everybody for your time. I apologize. I'm a little bit of a poor delegator. I should have the double on this end. So the second question, and we have following this one, which we created this. So the other instance of violence in our community, our teens are experiencing extreme trauma, regularly losing their peers. How do we as adults coaching through Oh, did you hear me? Oh, wow, you guys can hear me. Okay. Okay. Well, I have
I didn't hear any of that. I try to watch your mouth. I was trying to read lips, but I think I might have got like 3 words. Nothing. I don't hear now. Now it's no sound at all.
Yeah, I can't hear it. Can you try maybe typing in your what you're saying into like the chat?
Can you hear me? Am I choppy?
No, I can hear you just
No,
fine.
you guys are good. He just sent a question into the chat, and the question is, with elevated incidences of gun violence in our community, our teens are experiencing extreme trauma, regularly losing peers. How do we as adults coach them through what we have not experienced?
We are recently, just in the last few years, coming to terms with appreciating the value of people like myself. We're just now getting there. The value of those who have lived a particular lifestyle, who understands that culture, that life, and then can take his education, their education, and it's a connection, and make the connection. Help our young people to make that connection. One thing, when you're in it, credibility because of for experience goes a long way. Particularly in this particular situation with we talking streets. How do I get a group of people to listen to someone explaining the reality of their situation and what the future is going to hold if they have not experienced that? So my advice is that you have to reach out to those of us who have experienced that. Schools are just now really getting into that, and thank God, but we are here, and give us a call, please. Treat us like we are professionals, that we have our master's degrees in education. Treat us like we have our doctorates in education just because we went to prison. We are a different people who can reach where others can't. And that's just being real with you.
Sorry.
I think it's over. Hey, Dr. Valentina. Nice to meet you. I wanted to meet you, though. I know. Do you have a Instagram?
My bad. Can you hear me now?
Oh, no, I hear you. Yeah.
So, bro, we've crossed paths a few times.
We have,
just
yeah.
gotta stop and grab some coffee.
Yeah.
And chop wood.
Let me get an email or a phone or what's the best way to get you?
I can put it in the chat. Where'd the chat go?
He took the chat away. Yeah, I can hear you now.
No, you can. Okay. No, I think the session is shutting down because we're over time, and it just seems like there's problem after problem. So,
it was. Yeah, I couldn't even do nothing with my video for some reason. It wouldn't even. I don't know. Maybe it was a screen share issue or what.
Yeah.
But here 319 is my number. You got something right with real quick?
Yeah,
we're still in the session, so I don't know if you want to share the number with everybody.
Okay. Well,
we are still broadcasting, but
I will share my email then.
Okay. Yes.
I'll share my email. I'm last name, first name at gmail.com. Yamini, YAMINIOMAR at gmail.com.
Okay.
And I was also going to say to everyone, we have the expo area. I welcome everybody to go to the expo area. Maybe if you guys do have a moment left, I know Dr. Pacheco is with UIC. We can maybe have her and maybe the other, if you guys can, if you have time, because we didn't let you know that it would go like this. Have maybe drop by the UIC booth and then answer questions in the chat over there, or maybe they can even put you up on screen. But I really apologize to everybody for all the issues. I had no idea that there was going to be this many issues. And I apologize that my delegating skills are not so good, because I should have, I thought we could fix this. I should have had Elias, on this and try to figure that out. I figured we could.
How do you pronounce your name? How do you pronounce your name, Doc?
Enya DK. Yes. But thank you all for being here. Thank you all for coming on. And yes, we will talk to you again sometime soon. And enjoy the rest of the event today, which will go much smoother.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us, Doc.
All right. Thank you, everybody. And it won't actually let us close the event. This is not going smoothly.
I was trying to shut it down, but I can't see any option here. Do you know because I'm checking in the session, and it has just for the chat and the Q&A and polls and all that.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go in. I don't think I have moderator status, honestly. Yeah, because I don't have the controls I should, and nothing is working as it should. So yeah, this did not go as planned. Okay, but I'm gonna leave this chat, and I have another one coming up. I got to make sure that one goes smoothly. Oh, this is a mess.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.